I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and like I said, I would be getting to the Rambo films. And I reviewed these once before, but I got a copyright claim from Lionsgate. So that was a long time ago, and I took them down a long time ago. But for the month of my birthday, why not review the Rambo films, considering I named Rambo F5. Actually, this was a gift from my good friend Michael Keane. You know, if I'm called Rambo F, come on, I gotta have reviews of the Rambo films. And, of course, can't start off without talking about First Blood. Now, First Blood, real quick, like, how the Blu-ray set of the Rambo films, good picture quality, especially the fourth film, has a bunch of features. Now, I still have this, and I know you're wondering, well, how come you still have these on DVD if you have these on Blu-ray? I wanted to talk about this quick. Well, frankly, because if you want this on Blu-ray, you're not going to have all of the features that this DVD set has. So if you got the Blu-ray and you got rid of your DVD set, you just got rid of some extra features. Now, I will say, this is all the stuff on the DVD set. I'll just hold up, and this is the Blu-ray. Now, on the DVD set for First Blood, it says that it had both commentaries, Stallone's and author David Morrell, but it didn't. But the Blu-ray did fix that because I made sure to check, and it does have both commentaries from the author David Morrell, because First Blood was originally a novel by David Morrell, and also Stallone's commentary on First Blood. So they did get that right on the Blu-ray. But the features that are not on the Blu-ray but are on the DVD are these. An American Hero's Journey, the Rambo Trilogy, Suiting Up, Selling a Hero, Rambonomics, Guts and Glory, The Fugitive Heroes, America's Green Berets, which just talks about the real Green Berets, The Real Nam, Voices from Within, just talks about what really happened in Vietnam. But again, features that talk about the movies, like Guts and Glory, An American Hero's Journey, the Rambo Trilogy, and some cute little ones like Rambonomics, Selling a Hero, Suiting Up. That's on this DVD set. That is not on this Blu-ray set. It is not on this Blu-ray set. So that's why I have to keep both, because this actually has all the features on there. Of course, granted, I could probably just take the bonus disc, but what am I going to do? Don't sell this without the bonus disc? That'd be really, well, that'd be me lying to someone would buy and not get. That's not really fair. But it's fine, because this is a collector's as well, because it's a tin, like a lunchbox. And being a Rambo fan, why not have this really cool collector's tin? And of course, the Blu-ray set. Now, First Blood, like I say, was based on a novel by David Morrell, and he actually came up with the name Rambo from an apple that was called a Rambo apple, which when I heard that, I'm like, really? There's a Rambo apple? I never knew that. But the novel First Blood is very different from the movie that we have, because in the novel First Blood is a lot more like The Hunted with Benicio del Toro and Tommy Lee Jones, and I reviewed that film. That's still on the channel. I really enjoyed The Hunted, and again, that was cool. It's like I got to see what First Blood, the novel, was. You watch that film, you see Benicio del Toro's character. That's what the Rambo character was in the novel. But when they did these films, at least First Blood, because First Blood also, when they try to adapt it to a movie, there's a lot of people who went in and out with it. Like actors, there was Dustin Hoffman, there was Al Pacino, there was, I think, John Travolta, there was even people for Troutman. They talked to Gene Hackman, and I think at one time Steve McQueen would be involved with the pitch. I mean, they just went through a lot of actors. They're one of those things that no one would stick with the project. They just kept going in and out and so on and so forth. But Stallone, since Rocky was a big hit, the Rocky sequels as well, or at least Rocky 2. Trying to remember what year Rocky 3 came out, but I believe Rocky 2 had come out by then. Stallone said, "Hey, I will." He looked at the story and he took a pass. He did a pass on the screenplay and made the character much more sympathetic. And for Stallone's career, I know I'm going all over the place, but I want to not miss anything. Real quickly, I want to talk about Ted Kotcheff. Ted Kotcheff, I thought, did a really good job. A year after First Blood, he would do another Vietnam film called Uncommon Valor with Gene Hackman. And Uncommon Valor, I must say, is fantastic. I reviewed Uncommon Valor. It's on the channel. Uncommon Valor, to me, is one of those undiscovered, underrated as hell, awesome fucking movies. Awesome films that with Gene Hackman, you had Patrick Swayze, you had Tim Thomerson, you had Fred Ward, you had Red Brown, Randall Tex Cobb as Sailor. You had so many great actors and wonderful score. Very capable directed by Ted. I love Uncommon Valor. And again, he did that after First Blood. And I'm looking up the other films Ted Kotcheff directed. Before this, I guess he directed the original Fun with Dick and Jane. But after this, he did Switching Channels. He did Weekend at Bernie's. The same guy who directed First Blood directed Weekend at Bernie's, and I enjoy Weekend at Bernie's. Now, unfortunately, he didn't really do too much. Well, he did a lot of stuff, but just nothing worthwhile. He did a lot of Red Shoe Diaries. Look up Red Shoe Diaries if you want. He did Hidden Assassin, also known as The Shooter, with Dolph Lundgren, which is a very mediocre Lundgren film. Family of Cops with Charles Bronson, which I never saw. I guess he actually did a couple episodes of Law & Order Special Victims Unit. And that was the last thing he directed. Although he's produced Pumping Up and something called 1066. But Ted Kotcheff, I mean, I gotta say, give credit. 3 films I enjoy. I enjoy Weekend at Bernie's. I love Uncommon Valor, and First Blood is a great film. And like I was saying before, Stallone, at this time, Stallone was kind of in trouble because he had hits with Rocky, but that was the only films that were box office hits for him. Anything else he would try to do really didn't do that well. Really, nothing happened unless it was a Rocky film. Because after Rocky, he did Fist, he did Paradise Alley, and those didn't do that well. But then he did Rocky 2, and boom, another big box office hit. But then he did films like Nighthawks, which Nighthawks is a really good film, but that didn't really do that well. I mean, I guess it looks like it did alright, but it wasn't huge. Then he did Victory, also known as Escape to Victory. That's the soccer film with Michael Caine and Pele. I don't think that film did that spectacular. And it seems like the only films that were really big were Rocky films. And actually, it says here, yeah, Rocky 3 was 82, the same year as First Blood. Wow, that was a big year. But, but as I was saying, it seemed like the only stuff that was hits was either Rocky, and that's it. And it's like, oh my god, I'm doing all these other films. They're not really doing that well. They're not really that big, or they're not really doing much. Like Nighthawks didn't really do much. Neither did Victory. Neither did Paradise Alley or Fist. And it's like, man, I gotta do something. So he did First Blood. And in fact, I'm jumping ahead yet again because I'm going all over the place in this video. The first cut of First Blood was around 3 hours, from what I understand. I know it was a long cut, and they watched it, and Stallone said that he wanted to buy the print and burn it. That's how bad it was. But of course, thankfully that didn't happen. They edited the shit out of it to get a very fast-paced, 90-some minute action movie that worked very well. And First Blood is a very solid film. I mean, what more can I say about First Blood that hasn't been said? I know it's most people's favorite Rambo film. I will admit, though, I grew up more with Part 2 and Part 3. That's why those I like more. Because I grew up more with superhero Rambo. But First Blood, as well as Rambo 4, is more of the realistic, dramatic Rambo, while Rambo 2 and 3 is more of the action-packed, entertainment, blockbuster Rambo, and I'm more a fan of that. But First Blood, I'll be honest, all these films I have no problems for. This is why this is my favorite action series. Granted, that's become sort of my favorite action film, but I think that film's underrated and gets shit on a lot. This is my favorite action film series, and I love the John Rambo character because he's a man of few words. And from what I understand, Stallone, when he did his pass on the script, he wrote the script, or rewrote it, he took out words because that way when he does say something, it's something that you remember. And he was right. Rambo doesn't need tremendous amount of dialogue until you get to the ending, where that's definitely one of the most, I think, well acted scenes Stallone's ever done, as well as one of the big moments of the film. But the film itself, I mean, John Rambo, he's a Vietnam vet, he's come home, he's been home for a while, and he wants to see his friends. So he's going to see this family, and one of the only times in the movie that you see him actually smile, he sees the place and smile, and you have the great music by Jerry Goldsmith. May he rest in peace. Jerry Goldsmith did a fantastic job on these Rambo films. Some of my favorite scores are the Rambo films. And, of course, at the end credits, you had It's a Long Road by Dan Hill, I believe the guy who sang that song. But Jerry Goldsmith did a great job. And, again, one of the only times you see Rambo smile in the film, because he thinks he's going to see his friend, but then he finds out that his friend has already passed away because of something he caught in Vietnam. And you see sort of the reaction, like he's sort of dumbfounded, he doesn't know what to do. And so now all his friends are gone. He doesn't know what to do, and he pretty much has this green sort of jacket and a little backpack, and he's just, sort of lost, and he's walking down the road, and he just wants to go in this town and get a bite to eat. But then you have a sheriff, Teasle, played by Brian Dennehy, another very good actor. He did, just like Stallone, Brian Dennehy did a great job with this. And before Stallone even enters town, Brian Dennehy goes, hey, how about I give you a ride? And pretty much you get the idea, Brian Dennehy's going to drive him out of town. And again, one of the few words, one of the sentences Stallone says, I remember, is, why you push me? I haven't done anything. And Brian Dennehy goes, we don't like people like you. Talking about the way he looks, and I'm looking at him, and apparently there was other people during apparently the screens, and I'm looking at it, it's like, what's wrong with the way Rambo looks? Like, he just has a little bit of long hair, and it's not like he fucking has black face, and he's dancing a jig, and he's wearing panties and bras and singing, Drinking Stein or something like that. He just looks like a normal guy. He just wants to pass through and get a bite to eat, but Brian Denny's character is a big asshole. So drives him out of town and says you can go down a couple miles that way to the next town. And what Stallone did with his character, because maybe I didn't mention this before. Well, I did, but in the novel of First Blood, the David Morrell, like I said, it's a lot like The Hunted, with Tommy Lee Jones, Benicio del Toro would become, where the character Rambo goes crazy. Like, he's been being fucked over now, but he goes nuts and kills a lot of people. Soldiers, National Guardsmen, and I think civilians as well. I can't remember. I mean, I haven't read it, but I read up on it, but I haven't read the actual novel. But I read up on stuff about it. And no, not just Wikipedia. But he killed a lot of people. And then in the novel, Rambo dies. Colonel Trautman, the character, blows Rambo's head off. And the ending of the First Blood book. Very different than the movie we have. But here, Stallone made a much more sympathetic character, and already we have his sympathy from, we see him smile, so he's a human being. He goes to see his friend. He finds out his last friend, is dead. Not only did he die, but the guy died from something he caught in Vietnam, and talk about how he pretty much died a slow, probably painful death. Pretty much ate him up. Then he just wanted to get some bite to eat, and this asshole drives him out of town. So, of course, like I think a lot of us would do, is like, fuck this. I should not be treated like this. I serve my country. All this shit's going on. I just want a bite to eat. And that's all he does. He just wants to go back into town, and the sheriff stops him. And the sheriff fucking touches him, and so Rambo does this, and he's like, you're under arrest. And I'm like, the guy didn't even do anything. You touched him. I think it would be against the law to have a guy not be able to fucking eat when he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything. But he arrests him and touches him, finds a knife. He's like, will you hunt with a knife? He's like, what do you have this for? Hunting. Oh yeah, what do you hunt with a knife? Name it. Puts him in jail. They treat him like shit. Actually, one of the deputies is a very young David Caruso, who will be on CSI Miami, and of course, he was on NYPD Blue and a lot of other stuff. Very young David Caruso. And they treat him like shit in jail. They treat him like shit. They humiliate him by having this hose to shower him off. He turns around. They tell him to put his hands up, and this asshole smacks him with a nightstick on his back. And then they want to shave him dry. You know how much that hurts? Obviously, I shave. Since I grow this a lot. Shaving dry fucking hurts. And the fact they don't want to shave him dry, that's fucked up. And of course, Rambo has a little flashback to when he was in Vietnam and he was a POW. And he goes nuts and he kicks these guys' ass. And you're like, yeah. Because it's really tough to make it so that this guy's beating up cops, but yet we're going to root for him. But you really do. And Gary Goldsmith's music built up like... And good choreography on the fight is nothing. There's no like crouching tiger shit. It's just basic. Getting this guy, breaking this guy's nose, jumping with both feet, grabbing on someone that kicks someone through, getting someone through a window, tripping someone, hitting them in the fucking nose. And then when he gets out to find his bike, he had the Jerry Goldsmith go and gets on a motorcycle, gets chased. And pretty much gets hunted down with dogs. And Stallone he's in the wilderness, and he has to figure out what the hell to do and how to survive. So he has to get little bits to use for clothing, and he hunts animals for food, and he puts little traps, and they hunt him down. They sit dogs on him. The one asshole, like Rambo's climbing down this cliff, and this asshole is trying to shoot him. And all Rambo did was defend himself. He was convicted wrongly. This guy was beating the shit out of him. And now this guy wants to kill him just because, he was humiliated? That's it. And then, that scene where he's getting ready to be killed, and Rambo has to jump off the cliff and go through all these trees and gets this long cut on his arm. And I know Stallone really got hurt doing bits of that stunt. And then, of course, the great scene where Rambo has to sew his own arm up. Total badass. Really good little makeup effect they did with that, too. And once again, he has to defend himself because his asshole has a fucking gun and is shooting at him and is ready to kill him. So all he can do is he grabs a... Again, Rambo gets our sympathy. So he has to get a rock and throw it at the helicopter, and the dumb fuck didn't have a seatbelt and fell down to his death. But then even then, he tries to do the right thing. He comes out with his hands up, says, I didn't do anything, it's not my fault. And it's not. The guy was going to kill him. What was he supposed to do? Pull down his pants and moon him? Like, what the fuck was he supposed to do? Sing Kumbaya and say, let's all get along? It was... He defended himself and he hit the helicopter. It's not his fault the motherfucker doesn't know what to wear seatbelts. Guy died of his own stupidity. And then they try to kill him again, and Rambo says, fuck this. And then you have that badass scene where he has these traps, and it's nighttime, and he fucks these people up one by one. Doesn't kill them. Maims the shit out of them. Has traps that goes and gets the guy here. You want to talk about Jigsaw in the Saw films? Fucking Rambo will fucking do some heavy shit on Jigsaw with traps and shit. Only these are actually make sense as well too. Like you actually see someone actually doing these kind of traps or little stuff, or going to the environment and breaking their arm, or I should say like they're popping their shoulder out or something. Sorry about that cut. I had to do something real quick. But like I was saying, Rambo sees Brian Dennehy and does that great scene where he comes up with a knife and goes, could kill them all. Could kill you. Don't push it. Don't push, I'll give you a war you won't believe. Let it go. Let it go. But it doesn't kill anybody. Maims the shit out of them, but doesn't kill anybody. And so Rambo goes on, and pretty much, I love this news reporter guy who goes, the deputies with their years of training and, were able to survive. And I'm like, no, Rambo let them survive. And that's where you get Colonel Trautman, which I remember one time Kirk Douglas was going to play it, but he decided not to because he wanted to kill Rambo at the end, like in the novel, and Stallone and the director said, no, can't do that. Which is funny, Stallone said that years later he talked to Kirk Douglas again, and he goes, I think I was artistically right. On the other hand, if you listen to me, you would have lost millions and millions and millions of dollars. But I think I was artistically right. I think Rambo should have. I thought that was pretty funny. But Colonel Trautman, as opposed to the sequels, Colonel Trautman, he's much more of a authority figure. Much more of a... You're not quite sure if he is Rambo's friend. I mean, he knew Rambo from back. But you see it, and you're not quite sure if Rambo... is going to be saved with Colonel Trautman, because Colonel Trautman, it's not like he's really Rambo's, in a way, his close friend, especially in the ending, where when Rambo collapses and hugs him, Trautman, doesn't know what to do and, barely hugs him, and has this look on his face, it's not, you go to Rambo 3 is a total opposite thing. So it's kind of weird, interesting how the Trautman character kind of changes from one sequel to another. But then again, you have that scene where, Trautman's talking about, who Rambo is. That he eats things that make the Billy Goat puke. It's to kill. Period. And talks about how Teasle can't win, and Brian Dennehy goes, you tell me you get all these people in there, that pretty much that we don't have a fair shot, and Richard Crenna goes, if you send that many people, remember one thing. What? A good supply of body bags. Some good dialogue. And of course, then you get Stallone trying to live off the land. You have a moment where Richard Crenna is able to talk to Stallone, and Stallone talks and talks about how, there would be no trouble. There'd be no trouble if it wasn't for that king shit cop. Just wanted a bite to eat. Just kept pushing, sir. We do some pushing of your own. They drew first blood, sir, not me. they drew first blood. Hence, the title. They did draw first blood. Then you have Stallone dealing with these National Guardsmen. And granted, you have a scene where the National Guardsmen are really buffoons. They're really clowns. Sort of weekend warrior type guys. And you think Stallone's, Rambo's killed in this cave that gets blown up. But you find out it's not the case. And Rambo goes through these dark tunnels and has rats crawling all over him. And he gets out of there while, Brian Dennehy thinks that Rambo's dead, but Richard Crenna sort of looks around and you get an idea that he still thinks that Rambo's alive. And then Rambo steals a truck, gets a machine gun, fucks up a lot of property. Fucks up a lot of property, blows up a ammunition store, like a gun store, shoots the shit out, blows up a bunch of fucking cars, shoots the shit out of a lot of buildings and windows, and shoots the shit out of a police station. Until it has a little conversation with Brian Dennehy's character and shoots the shit out of Brian Dennehy's legs. Which I saw, I'm like, how the hell is Brian Dennehy's character alive? But he is. And then you have that great scene at the end where Trautman goes, this mission is over. And of course Rambo goes, nothing is over! Nothing! You don't just turn off. I did what I had to do to win. I come back to the world. I see those maggots at the airport, protested me, spitting, call me baby tail and all sorts of vile crap, huh? Who are they to protest me, huh? Who are they? Listen, they've been there, and knew what the hell they were yapping about? It was a tough time. Don't end it like this. Back there I could fly a gunship. I could drive a tank. Back there I was in charge of $1 million equipment. Here, I tell you, parking cars! And that's where he breaks down. I know Stallone got crap from a lot of people saying that, well, we couldn't understand him, or well, it was this, and well, it was that, and blah, 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 blah. You know what? First off, I think Stallone did a great job acting-wise. You bought that, this was a guy who kept it all in, and this is his time to fall apart. It just had to come out. I think it worked well. I think it worked very well. I think Stallone did a great job acting-wise. I understood what the hell he's talking about, so I don't know what people are bitching about. I thought he did a great job. And he talks about how he was in Vietnam, and he had his buddy, and his buddy talked about this car, and that they're going to drive till the wheels fall off. And there was this kid who kept saying, shoe shine, please, shoe shine. And Rambo went to get a couple of beers, and the box was rigged, and they blew up. And about how his friend's body was all over the place. He's all over me, and he takes off like his bandoleros, that has all the ammo. It's like, my friend, he's falling, but I'm trying to keep them together. And I'm not going to try to recreate the scene, because I'm not going to do a good job with it. But he's crying about how no one would help. And, the guy's like, I can't find your fucking legs. I can't hold your fucking legs. Pretty much, his legs are... I mean, it was just describes a really vicious scene that he saw, and he talks about how he saw that, it gets in his head almost every night, and that how sometimes he wakes up, he doesn't know where he is, he can't get out of his mind, and he breaks down and cries, and then that's where you get sort of trauma and kind of you get that reaction like he doesn't know what to do, and ultimately Stallone gives himself up, and you have that song, It's a Long Road by Dan Hill. I know there's another scene, alternate ending, where Rambo tells Trautman to kill him, and then Trautman does it, and then Rambo takes it and shoots, using Trautman, shoots himself. So a suicide ending, which they actually use a teeny bit of that in Rambo 4 in A Nightmare. I thought that was kind of clever that they did that. But if you remember Rambo 4, during the nightmare scene that he has, there's a teeny bit of that suicide ending that you see that. I thought that was pretty clever that they did that. But, Stallone said, he was saying about Rocky, you shouldn't kill a hero, and of course Ted Kotcheff like, but this isn't Rocky, it's Rambo. But Stallone was right. I think if Rambo had died, the film would not have worked. Because it's like, this guy, we sympathize with him, he's been fucked over again and again and again, he's doing what he can, he's obviously seen some horrible stuff in Vietnam, these guys kept fucking with him, they did draw first blood, he had to fight. I think that's why the film sort of from what I heard, a lot of veterans, among others, saw the film and really were touched, especially the speech Rambo has at the ending. And it's not, when I say when it's an action film, it's not tons of gunfights, fist fights. It's nothing like that. It's more of a story. But the little pieces of action you get were, like when Stallone and Rambo's fucking people up in the police station and getting away on his motorcycle, and then he's hunting them. And then, the ending where he takes the M60 and blows the shit out, the glass and buildings. But it's also a good drama as well. It's a well-done drama. And First Blood, it's hard to talk about a film that, what more can you say about it? The musical score by Jerry Goldsmith is fantastic. Stallone, I think, did a great job. The Man of Few Words was the right way to go for this character. So each time he talked, you remembered it. They used the wilderness very well. It's rainy and it's wet and has a good background. Brian Dennehy did a really good job, as did Richard Crenna. Really do miss Richard Crenna. He's one of those actors I really enjoy. Of course, he's in another film that I enjoy. But I've always loved Richard Crenna. He's sorely missed. It would have been fantastic if he was alive and could have been Rambo 4. That would have been fantastic. Ted Kotcheff, I think, did a very capable job directing the film. The film goes at a fast pace. It's only 90-some minutes long. It's one of those films I really have no problems with. The drama works. You really sympathize with the character of John Rambo. He's a guy you root for. Out of all the films, it's probably the film that I guess you would say is the most realistic. It's definitely the one that's very dramatic. And it worked very well. And the film came out and did very well. Definitely helped Stallone's career, just like Rocky did, and became one of those great characters, like Rambo. So, I don't know what more I can say, but First Blood is a classic. It's a very solid film. And either way, thanks for watching. Take care. And stay tuned for Rambo 2 later.